Welcome to today's deep dive. So, um, when you look at the footage from the World Artificial Intelligence Conference in Shanghai, you expect to see generative models and, like, silicon chips.
Right, yeah. You definitely don't expect to witness a masterclass in high-stakes regional statecraft.
Exactly. But today, our mission is to unpack how a major tech summit in China quietly became the stage for, well, some really delicate regional peacekeeping.
It's fascinating. We're looking at Thai Prime Minister Newton's recent visit to China, and specifically his meeting with President Xi Jinping.
Yeah, and how that meeting kind of morphed into China pushing to restore relations between Thailand and Cambodia.
I mean, the choreography of the summit really tells the whole story here. President Xi Jinping didn't just, walk to the podium by himself.
Oh, he had company, right?
He sure did. He positioned himself very strategically. He was flanked by Thai PM Newton on one side and Cambodian PM Hun Manet on the other.
Wow, so that was very intentional.
Extremely intentional. She used the optics of that exact moment to emphasize that Thailand and China are one family. And he explicitly offered to facilitate peace and help restore relations between the two bordering nations.
It honestly reminds me of, like, a mutual friend casually inviting two feuding buddies to the same dinner party just to gently force a conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
But, in this geopolitical version, the mutual friend happens to own the restaurant, hold everyone's mortgages, and is heavily suggesting you work out your differences over appetizers.
Right, it's using sheer economic gravity to just force a diplomatic dialogue. And that economic gravity is the only reason that kind of spatial choreography even works.
Because there's a real elephant in the room here, right?
Huge elephant. China felt compelled to flex that leverage because of the escalating friction right at the Thai-Cambodian border.
Right, because Cambodia has been actively conducting military drills and testing new weaponry right next door to Thailand.
Yeah, and the core catalyst for Beijing's sudden intervention is the recent arrival of Chinese-made tanks in Cambodia.
Wait, really? So China is supplying armor to one side while offering to mediate peace for both.
Yeah, it is quite the situation.
I mean, that creates a massive conflict of interest. How does China even maintain credibility as a neutral facilitator when they're actively arming one of the participants?
Well, they're relying on the mechanics of grandfathered defense contracts. During their bilateral meeting, Xi Jinping directly addressed the tank delivery.
Oh, he brought it up himself.
He did, but he framed it as an old order, one that was placed long before the current border conflicts ever erupted.
Okay, so essentially invoking plausible deniability regarding the timing.
Exactly. And to placate Thailand, Xi pointed out that Beijing actually delayed the delivery out of sensitivity to the escalating tensions.
Interesting.
Plus, he added a strict end-user stipulation, saying the hardware absolutely cannot be used to cause harm to Thailand.
But, I mean, an end-user stipulation is just ink on paper. If you're Thailand, a verbal promise that Cambodia won't use Chinese tanks against you doesn't exactly secure your border.
No, it really doesn't.
So how does Prime Minister Newton respond to this delicate balancing act without giving up his leverage? Because he can't just nod and accept it.
Right. And he didn't. Newton formally thanked China for supporting a bilateral resolution.
Oh, which strategically keeps the actual negotiations strictly between Thailand and Cambodia.
You hit the nail on the head. It prevents Beijing from just dictating the terms. Simultaneously, he drew a really hard line on Thai sovereignty.
Right, but protecting sovereignty requires actual, actionable communication, not just declarations at a summit.
Exactly. And that is why Newton proposed a new 2+2 dialogue.
I want to break this down for you listening because this 2+2 dialogue fundamentally alters the strategy. It brings together the foreign ministers and defense ministers of both Thailand and China simultaneously.
Yeah, so instead of diplomats talking in one room and military generals posturing in another, you force those diplomatic and military channels to align.
It eliminates the silo effect, right?
Completely. When border skirmishes happen, they often escalate because military commanders react on the ground before the diplomats in the capital can even communicate.
So a 2+2 structure basically ensures military actions and diplomatic negotiations are tethered together.
Exactly. It creates a unified framework to tackle regional stability and even things like online crime networks that operate across these borders.
So we are really watching China actively beta test its role as a regional stabilizer here.
Yeah, they are trying to balance two crucial Southeast Asian allies, keep their defense industries churning and protect their economic interests, and all without firing a single shot.
And they're bypassing traditional diplomatic venues like the UN or ASEAN to do it. They opted to leverage a global technology conference instead.
Right, which is just wild to think about.
It really is, and it leaves you with a really provocative shift to ponder. As technologies like AI become the new global currency, are we going to see tech and trade summits increasingly replace traditional political forums as the real battlegrounds for national security?
It really makes you wonder.
It does. The next time world leaders gather to discuss silicon and software, just consider what geopolitical borders might be getting redrawn in the background.